Team's really excited. Opportunity to, be going through some last really real practice before we'll get a chance to dive into our preparation for a home game at US Bank Stadium. Good football team coming in. A lot of guys fighting for spots on our team and roles on our team. So it will be a very exciting day over there at US Bank. Excited to see our fans. Always one of my favorite parts of this job is our home game environment at US Bank Stadium. So cannot wait to get over there. As we kind of talked about the other day, did want to give you guys kind of a update on our plan. We are planning on playing the majority of our guys. There's still some guys either dealing with a day-to-day thing here or there that we'll evaluate as we go into it, and there may be a couple guys we hold out, but for the most part we will play the majority of our guys. Sam Darnold will start the game, and then we will transition to JJ McCarthy for what I'm very, very excited to see. Significant amount of work and really see him hopefully apply a lot of the things that he's been doing really well, just as Sam has every day in practice, and it's been a really good start to the process for all those guys. And now we get the opportunity to play against somebody else in a game setting before our joint practices next week. So now we're reaching the point where we get to see a lot of good barometer on where we're at, not only at that position, but a lot of competitive positions right now on our team. More than likely, JJ will turn it over to Jaron Hall to finish. And talking to Nick Mullins, he's had just an unbelievable way about him in that room with those guys, stepping in, really at any moment and going in and just executing our system. He's already proven that he knows our system. Nick will get plenty of work as we move forward through the rest of the training camp, but he will be available, but might not play in this one in an attempt to really maximize the ops for some guys that are either new or, even in Jaron's case, in year 2 in the system.
So what's behind the decision to play Sam, just given you haven't played a ton of the starters in preseason?
Yeah, I've told you guys before, every year is a new year, and I'm always gonna, in conjunction with talking to Flo and Hat, and Wes as our coordinators, making sure that we're preparing our team, to get off to a good start and a fast start this season. I think it's a great op with it being a home game, with only one set of joint practices this year, and knowing kind of what we want to get accomplished. Maybe I wouldn't even say differently than any other training camp, because the principles are always the same, but how you go about doing that, Alec, is what I try to spend a lot of time and energy on, and all while doing it with an individualized plan for each player, what they need. And but as far as Sam goes, I just, it would be great for him to go through the opportunity of preparing for the game and what takes place between now and then, from going through the call sheet, going through his prep, getting a dry run at that, as well as JJ and Jaron and Nick for that matter. It's a good op for all of us.
Kevin, what do you like most from Gabriel Murphy?
Say that one more time.
What do you like most from Gabriel Murphy? A lot of the guys on defense have been singing his praises.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys watch him practice have seen his impact. Super versatile, a guy that can rush on the edges. He rushes inside in the dime group. What's been really cool is just seeing his impact, even in the run game, from a physicality, setting the edge standpoint. And then he's got some versatility, like what we've tried to build in that edge room of guys that can maybe play off the ball as well. So, he's been incredibly physical, and had a few days where he's had some bumps and bruises, but Gabe's had a great training camp, and kind of in alignment with what we want out of the undrafted free agent class, guys that you're bringing here to hopefully have a chance to make your 53, and Gabe is put himself very much so in that conversation. It's going to be competitive all the way down to the very end, but Gabe just needs to focus on doing the things he's been doing, and he'll be all right.
What's the ideal amount of playing time for Sam? Perfect world, a couple of series, a quarter, like what's your?
Yeah, I always, this goes back to my playing career, where I remember being guaranteed the third quarter, and as I watched the third quarter come to an end, and that guarantee wasn't worth very much to me. So what I like to do is look at it. Did we receive the opening kick? Did we not? What is the total? You want to have some plays, especially for the full group, as you kind of transition the different waves of your team. But for me, it's going to be a feel thing. Hey, this group's got to go. Another one, or maybe we've seen enough, or those guys have established a little bit of a rhythm, whatever it is, and then kind of as it goes forward from there, JJ McCarthy and that group, or the second group on defense, we're not going to really know exactly what the plan of the other side is. So there could be some real unique circumstances where we see some different depths of the Raiders versus us, and my expectation is that gives us great evaluation opportunities when we see that.
Yeah, but when you ever adjust your playing time based on what you see the opponents are currently using for starters, backups, like would you change your plan at all?
It's really all goes back to the intent of what we're trying to get done Saturday, which is we want to win the football game for sure. It'd be nice to get one of those under our belts here in Minnesota in the last couple of years, but nothing's more important than kind of what we're preparing our team for, which is week 1 of the NFL regular season.
JJ's development, what kind of a tool is a preseason game for him at this point?
I think we've tried to, and you guys have probably felt, whether situational work we've done or truly simulating guys on the sideline, just him in the huddle out there. We try to simulate that, but nothing can quite simulate, real play clocks, real repercussions for things that, maybe you don't do your job and it affects others, or vice versa. So I think it's just a really good way of seeing exactly where you're at, and then understanding, just like we talk about every single day, we go in there, we evaluate it, things you did well, things that, maybe you could have done better, identify the why, and really that's been probably the most fun I've had in a training camp in a long time, just from a pure coaching standpoint, being around that group and Josh and Grant in that room, just the dynamic of just high level football, but a bunch of hungry guys that are just trying to get better. There's no guys supporting each other in that room, and really the dynamic dialogue between Sam and JJ, or Nick and Sam, or JJ and Sam, has been really, really cool to see. I've had a blast with those guys this camp.
JJ said that he thought he had like one bad practice maybe last Friday or Saturday, and then felt pretty good about how he bounced back after that. Does that align with what you saw during that?
Totally, yeah. I think, and really the quote-unquote bad practice, about results of some plays, but then I may call a play, amidst that kind of stretch of plays he might be not getting the result he wants, and I may call a play just to see the footwork he'll take on something similar, or knowing that he might have to climb the pocket if the edge matchup isn't what maybe you'd want, or hey, I know kind of flow where he might go with this play call, and this would be a great chance to see if he could recognize it, and immediate learning, which is part of layered learning in my mind, is giving these guys the opportunity to kind of self-correct in the moment, because that's what this position is all about, playing in this league. You hear people talk about it every single. There's 16 games on a weekend. There's 32 plus quarterbacks dealing with adversity, whether that's Patrick Mahomes or anybody else in this league. That's the nature of why we call it the hardest position in sports, and I think giving guys the opportunity to do that sometimes, all well knowing that there's nothing going to be greater than going in, evaluating the tape, and seeing if we can show growth, on a daily basis. Progress.
Jefferson, Kevin, or is he probably among those that you would shy away from playing on Saturday?
Yeah, Justin more than likely will not play. There'll be, as far as what that ends up looking like, the guys that do not play, the majority of our roster will, and it could be a health thing, but there will be, really Justin, and Harrison Smith is another guy who will not play, that are totally healthy and participating today that you'll see, and just part of the process of those guys kind of getting ready for their week 1 as well.
Last couple of a mix, having real offensive reps, but also not showing too much to other teams on tape during preseason games. But you also get these guys real reps offensively.
Yeah, I think it's it's one of those things where the things you're working on in practice that maybe guys have really took a liking to as part of the offense and the run or pass game might not find its way on the call sheet. And I think that's one of the cool things about the preseason is my hope. You never know until Saturday afternoon, but my hope is maybe we'll get to see some looks that the quarterbacks can play with a quieted mind and not feel like Flo's throwing the kitchen sink at them every single day. But preseason football is really, really good because you see guys overcome scheme, and a lot of times where, hey, that leverage wasn't good. There was an extra defender here, maybe an extra hat in the run game, and guys made a play. And when guys can overcome that bodes really well for their ability once we give them a full repertoire of a weekly game plan to hopefully have the same, if not more, impact.
Yeah, we talked about JJ giving him that opportunity to bounce back from adversity. What's the biggest thing you've learned about him in camp, seeing him do that?
Well, he's a competitor. I mean, anytime it's a situational drill, 2-minute, or it's a third down period or red zone period, I mean, he's trying to win the drill. He likes to win. He's become incredibly accustomed to that, in his football journey. And even then, sometimes that's a really, really positive thing. And other times, if that starts to, leak into your decision making or, your ability to, still take the right footwork, have your eyes in the right spot, the discipline, that's truly what I think's been the best part of it, because he's applied that, he's shown that. And then when it has not happened, he's been able to kind of get himself back on track relatively quickly.
Last one.
When it comes to Jefferson and Darnold and the connection they've made over the last few practices, I guess,
Yeah.
What have you seen from that chemistry growing?
Yeah, I think it's, Sam has got, Sam's a really talented guy throwing the football. And when you play with Justin, there's been some plays where maybe over the course of his career, Sam wouldn't have thrown that ball versus that leverage, or, maybe it didn't seem open to him. And as we've gone on, just kind of never saying, hey, you should have thrown the ball here. It's more so, I wouldn't be afraid to give him an op on that look right there. And as we've gone on in camp and stacked some plays and reps, and those two have really built a good rapport. You saw some plays, even the other day, there was a couple that really mirrored some of the things we've seen Justin do in our system. And I think it was big time growth for Sam and really, and JJ as well. When he's gotten his reps with Justin or throwing him certain routes throughout the day, just kind of learning how he's different, why he's different, and applying that when you're kind of pulling the club from the bag on how you're going to throw the ball.